Hello, my name is Osvaldo Torres. Today I'll be showing my blog. So right now I'll be explaining the details of the American Revolution. The American Revolution was based on a lot of things. For example, the salutary neglect. The salutary neglect was an unofficial British policy of avoiding strict enforcement on trade laws. This mainly led to the colonists learning to govern themselves. French and Indian War was also known as the 7 Years' War. This was mainly fought by the Indians and the French. British wins at the end, and later the French was removed from North America, and Britain was left in debt due to the fact that they were wasting all their money on guns and everything to try and to defeat them. The Proclamation of 1763. This proclamation was by George III. Declared all land west to the Appalachian Mountains to be for American Indians only. Only colonists were not allowed to settle there. George III hoped this would bring peace to the western frontier of the American soldiers. In 1765, the Stamp Act, British Parliament passed this tax requiring the American colonists to pay a tax for the items such as newspapers, documents, and playing cards. In 1765, the Townshend Acts, the British Parliament placed taxes on tea, paint, paper, lead, and glass. Americans protested these taxes and all were later repealed except for the tax on tea. In 1770, the Boston Massacre. The Boston Massacre was a group of men from Boston confronted some British soldiers. The British soldiers fired into the crowd, killing several colonists. Due to the fact that they shot, this really made the colonists react and made them protest and stuff. It made them mad. In 1773, due to the tax on the tea, the Boston Tea Party began. The Boston Tea Party were a lot of colonists that dressed themselves as Indians, and they went on the boat of the tea and threw all the tea to the sea, and then later ran away. But these later were their goal was to protest for the tax on the tea. They were soon caught, and their plan on not being recognized failed because they knew they wasn't the Indians. The Olive Branch Petition was a letter to King George from the colonists asking for more freedom in order to avoid war. Of course, it really. Okay, so the Parliament, Great Britain's lawmaking. The Parliament was a Great Britain's lawmaking assembly. Lexington and Concord. This was a battle between colonial volunteers. They fought British troops. No one is sure what side fired first. It was the shot heard around the world. No, what this means is basically that there was one side and another side. Nobody knew which side shot first because they were all too busy shooting, at each other. But it was a shot that started everything, and nobody knows what side started the fight. In October 1781, the war finally came to an end. The American Revolution ended because Cornwallis was surrounded and later surrendered and forced to surrender by a British position in Yorktown, Virginia. 2 years later, the Treaty of Paris finally said America is independent. Okay, thank you. This concludes my presentation. Goodbye.